Regional news, highlights, school happenings, local politics. What's going on in your neighborhood? You're going to find out right now. You're listening to the 815 Has Problems podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
All right, a special edition live from the Hive.
From the Hive, baby.
From the Hive on a national level tonight. How's that feel?
Bro, hey, listen, there's a bunch of people about to tune in and be like, Chicago, wild. Yeah.
We ain't even in Chicago.
Illinois. Will
County, we're representing you well tonight on a national level with X America News. We've got a bunch of people on with us tonight. It's probably one of the biggest podcasts we've ever done. Danny Insanity. That's your new name. Take it away. Let's get everybody introduced.
I actually kind of like that, Danny Insanity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from Will County to Kane and all throughout Illinois and now throughout the entirety of the United States, we want to welcome you to a very special edition of the 815 As Promised podcast. And we got a couple of interesting guests today. And as I introduce them, you could tell that the topic of today's conversation is going to be a little spicy. First and foremost, let me introduce the gentleman who put us all together.
Absolutely.
This stud of a human being. It annoys me sometimes, though, when he wears these suit shirts in some of his photos, his nipples come piercing right through the shirt.
See, we didn't need to know all that.
Noah, what's up? Noah Harrod in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and I appreciate you guys, all coming on. I think Illinois has potential, especially if we get people into office like Tedora. With the 815 podcast, with X America News, with Tedora, with Shane Bouvet, one of the MAGA OGs. I'm trying to put together the Avengers of the Republican Party, and I think we're getting there. So I'm excited, guys.
It's an exciting night.
That's
for
fun.
Sure.
If we're the Avengers, my character is something Aladdin based, that'd be great. Like the genie of destruction.
We're gonna change our music to the Christina Aguilera song.
We got to get a magic carpet in the background.
Oh, we totally have to. Next on the introduction block, let's go ahead and listen. I'm going to tell you something. When we talk about fighters, bro, Miss Tedora Brown, running for the 11th Congressional District for Congress in Illinois, fought at every single level, with attorney also running for Illinois State Treasurer Max Solomon, fought like a beast, took on the machine and smacked it right back and got right back on the ballot. She held up early voting. That's how powerful this fight got to get back on the ballot. Tedora, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you guys for having me on. As everyone can see, I'm the only lady, but I'm used to that. I love being around guys. Let's do this. I need you guys too. So I'm running for Congress in the 11th district to serve the people of Illinois. Even I'm running as a Republican, but I know when elected, I'm going to have to serve all the people in the 11th district.
Absolutely.
Amen to that one. Talk about OG Patriots. Now, you've recently been introduced to this man. Okay, and we've made some noise, and we made a couple of waves here over the past couple of weeks. Mr. Shane Bouvet, you there, my friend? From Mr. OG.
Hey, what's going on?
OG Patriot from Stonington. How are you, bro? Oh, we cut out. Okay. When you live in
ran off on us again.
When you live in Stonington, Illinois, Wi-Fi is a little spotty. He'll be right back on. We'll get right back to Shane Bouvet, the American Patriot. He'll be back on. And, of course, the host with the most, allowing us to connect on all the networks, Mr. Mike, X America News. How are you, man?
Oh, just living the dream. Now, I'm not in the People's Republic of Illinois. I'm over here in Ohio, but we need to save your state so the problems don't head my way. And, again, like with Tedora's district, this is an opportunity to pick up a seat. There's a lot of that. There's extreme frustration. Illinois is on a precipice right now. They are in the midst of self-destruction. If we don't save this state, the whole country is going to pay for it.
Well, and I think also, Mike, that the primary here, the gubernatorial primary, is such a, excuse my language here, a shit show that we don't, everyone's slinging mud left and right, and they're going crazy. And everyone's accused us of slinging mud too, but at the same time, we're producing facts. And there's a lot of facts that have to come out here. And I think that the reason why we got here is because this podcast even was taken over by some bad actors, right? And we had to retake the throne, I guess you would say, right? And try to move forward on this. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff to get to here, Danny. How do you want to hack it out first?
Well, we're going to segue into ours in just a moment, but all we have Tedora here, it kind of ties into our story. And our story is this is a grassroots situation. Because Mike is right. This is a scenario where Illinois is on the precipice of pure and utter destruction. Okay. And we're looking at the gubernatorial race, but I'm even thinking higher than that because it's definitively clear how this is going to work out. If Pritzker wins, he's going to be a problem because he's trying to run for president, right?
Sure.
However, in the meantime, because if the wrong campaign wins the primary, it's a guaranteed victory for the guy, and we'll get into who they are in a minute. It's our job to protect our president and make sure our congressional and our Senate seats get won, and then all of our local county and our local seats. We have to focus on the state here, and to Dora's, I want to say plight. That'd be a fun, nice way to say it. I'm trying to be cordial here. We're national news now. The fight that you had to deal with, it is what it is. Okay. You dealt with it. I want your input on it. Why did you continue to fight? Why did you continue to go with it?
What made you go? Well, the first thing is because I circulated about 85% of my signature sheets.
Right.
So I had 151 pages, and out of those 151 pages, I actually went to 8 counties. You know, Danny, we have 8 counties. So I had to drive all the way to McHenry, Lake County, DeKalb, Boone, our basic ones, which is Wheel, DuPage, or whatever. But I traveled. I did all this myself with my team. And how dare them try to say that my signatures were invalid?
Well, and that's the thing, because you had not only the receipts, you actually produced your own receipts.
Correct. And when you're talking about the machine, I remember someone telling me that if it goes, they really believed in the justice system. The person who I was talking to really, really believed in the justice system. And I think it kind of disappointed him because he just knew, oh, you're going to be good. And every step of the way, we were not good. So we knew that it had something to do with the Democrat machine and also higher up people that we found out later. And if it's okay, I can mention the name. Jeff Walters. He's one of my opponents, and he's the mayor of Elburn. And he's the one, we all got together and said we wasn't going to challenge each other petitions. And the last minute, the last hour, the last 15 minutes, he had someone actually challenge the petitions. How we found out it was him, we kind of knew it, but I was smeared for 93 days. I kind of laid back, laid low. But when his FEC reports came out, you have to follow the money, right? I'm learning this as a first-time politician.
Hardcore follow the money. We're going to get into that too in a minute.
So, right at MEA, the last day of the month, because this time for January was January 31st. So January 30th, he filed his FEC reports, and he paid the attorneys that actually were trying to tear me down. So that was the connection between the two. And he's never admitted to it, and he never denied it. So fast forwarding, he literally just tried to get me off the ballot. I don't understand. I did not understand why, but I understand now.
Noah, let me ask you this. Seeing this from a distance, and you've been involved in politics here for a minute, but seeing this kind of situation break down, what is that giving you a sign of? Like, having someone, fellow Republicans challenging each other, going out of their way to knock people out or to keep people silent or to control the narrative and control their own news cycle, if you will, for the primaries. What are your thoughts on all that?
So the first thing I look at is motive with anybody, right? And I started politics at 17. I'm 28 now, so I don't know everything, but I can pick up on something. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
No, it's not a camel.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully not. No, I've seen this before. I don't see it so much in Florida. For some reason, Illinois is very nasty with the Republican Party. Hey, we got Shane on. Do we want to? We got him back.
Hey, sorry. That whole thing was weird. Like my phone went black. It had a green dot. I'm like, oh man, everyone's getting ready to talk.
It's Bailey. He's coming. Let's go, man.
Ain't that the truth?
Let's do a quick intro for you, man, because I want everyone to know who you are. Shane Bouvet, the OG Patriot. Now you have been through the ringer and been through story after story, and you've been around for much longer than I've ever been in politics myself, or even Shane, JV, by the way. I don't know why I just called you Shane. Sorry, baby. No homo. I said baby. Those are my words and mine only, not exaggerated ex-American news. Shane, tell us who you are, how you got into the mix, and then how did we recently connect? What was it that finally happened? Because I've been trying to coach you for a few months now. I've been reaching out to you, telling you.
Where do I begin? And Noah's been one of my good friends, and you have too, Danny. I'm just a very humble guy, so for me to talk about myself, it's sometimes hard for me to do, because I believe it's all God, and everything I did was doing it His way and doing it to the way He wanted me to do it. So I feel like I just used His gift, I would say. But Noah, if you could tell him what I've done in the Trump movement, I mean, without me bragging.
I'm like the ring announcer for Shane. Anytime I fly him out anywhere,
I completely get it.
Yep. So Shane comes from very humble beginnings. He actually his city he started out as a volunteer with the Trump campaign before anybody took Trump serious. Well, the Trump campaign got word of this, and Shane's own hometown banded around him to buy him a suit so that he could go to the inauguration.
That's awesome.
Well, fast forward, Shane becomes one of Trump's top social media strategists. Shane actually spent more time in the Oval Office than Elvis Presley, and Shane became a friend of Trump and wrote the book for Trump, The Man You Don't Know. And Shane's also shown in his documentary. There's not a lot of people that can make one phone call and get a hold of the most powerful guy on earth, but Shane's that guy, and it's cool to know him. I remember first time I met Shane, we were messaging back and forth on Facebook, and I was like, "You want to come to Florida?" He's like, "I want to come to Florida." He didn't really know what the Florida experience had entailed for him.
Yeah, I didn't know
but it was absolutely insane.
Florida man stories left and right.
Yep, we've been buds ever since. Me and him have fought tooth and nail like brothers, but at the end of the day, that's what brothers do. Brothers fight.
I love that. Yep. And Shane, the reason why you're a part of this conversation is, and Tedora as well, and we're talking about this machine. I got some stuff to go over with everybody today. This is going to be fun, by the way. And
it is. I think that if you could back up real quick to Shane. Let's figure because what he experience kind of goes into what we're going to talk about that was on the podcast. It was kind of a part of all that. I just know when you guys want to break into that, so just let me know.
We're going to. My biggest thing is because Tedora is new to this conversation.
Sure.
So I want to make sure that we tie this together because Tedora has dealt with the same thing. She's talking about the machine. We can say whoever we want, Tedora, as far as who actually did petitions, who actually paid for things, who signed things. But you and I both know there is a machine at play behind the scenes from certain groups, right? With certain names that keep popping up. Well, that also ties to the Bailey campaign. But if you look at this, Tedora, they tried to silence you and rub you out politically.
100%.
100%. Shane, same thing.
And Danny, you can attest how I take care of my business.
That was the scariest thing I've ever heard. That should be your campaign video. You know how I take care of my business? Back up, vote. That was great.
Literally, no, because when we came over into your in Aurora to do the walk, did I not write on there if somebody was dead? It was a list
100%. You updated our records,
This person is this. I literally gave him a list. This is how strategic I am. I gave him a list, and next to the addresses, if the address was not,
I had codes, address, I had everything. I vouch 100% for that.
That's just how I do business. So and then you asked this question: why did I continue to go? If I didn't believe that I had the signatures, I would have waited till 2028. I would have said, "Damn, they got me." You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's not what happened.
You also weren't gonna allow them to gaslight you either. And
oh hell no.
Now here's the thing. I have you here with Shane together as a cautionary tale scenario because now Shane brought up some explosive information, and this is what you're referring to, Jay, about one of our campaigns. And when we talk about a machine, I want to show you a level of it that's just beyond belief. Shane, when we talked recently, you went online, okay, and you made a live video. And you said something explosive, and I think, JV, that's what you're referring to, right?
Right. He'd made let's back up. So at the launch party for the Bailey campaign back in September of 2025, there was an incident with a young female named Cecilia Brooks.
Yep.
It's a very well-known incident. They had asked Shane at some point, and this is me just watching this video, had asked him to take the blame for whatever had gone on or not gone on over there that night.
They were drinking. They were drinking heavily. I hate to interrupt, but they're drinking heavily. I noticed Delmar And I told Delmar, being lieutenant governor, I said it's not a good look going on a party bus with females. I mean, digging through their purses and stuff, and nobody else is asking any questions. I mean, a grown ass man, excuse my language, going through a woman's purse. I just, it's not a good look.
It's just weird.
No, it's creepy as
It's
can
weird.
be.
Right. So
But yet, I'm the one that they're blaming. They wanted to throw me up in a jail cell and just let me throw away my life.
That's just
But
so
yet, they're
weird.
not even questioning the guy who was looking through their purse.
Well, that's the thing here,
Crazy.
and a lot of people are asking for clarification, right? Because there was never an actual statement of rape, right? The girl eventually said, "Nobody ever raped me," but we know, and per your statement, you said that they asked you to take a fall for something. Whatever the girl was going to come up with and say, they wanted you to take this hit. Could have been sexual assault, could have been drugging, could have been I drugged her, I tried to roofie her.
just watch that language on the YouTube.
Sorry. They wanted to do whatever possible to make sure that you took a fall for this. Why did they feel like they can ask you?
That's my question.
They knew
too, yeah.
they knew that they knew with the whole Trump. They knew through the whole Trump element that they could probably get some type of publicity out of it. But I think it blew up in their face. I think it really blew up. Like we was talking about. I think it really like people were like, nah, I don't see Shane doing that. That's not
Well,
not his character.
And to add on to that, here's where I think it did blow up in their face to a certain extent, because we sat here for this podcast about Cecilia Brooks, and Danny knows that it was kind of a nothing burger. I mean, in our opinion,
really
right?
was.
It was really a nothing burger, and so that's why I was so taken back that it needed to be edited and it needed to be reviewed by the Baileys and all this stuff that just didn't make sense to me, because I'm like, nothing. There's really nothing in there that's damning to the Baileys, right? And so you always say the thing about the cover-up's worse than the crime, but like I just didn't see a need to go to the extent that we went to with them providing false information and false audio
And like participating in felony behavior as a campaign.
eavesdropping is a class 4 felony.
It is. And and that's what we're going to get into. Like, Shane, you saw your thing. Tedora, you want to see a machine at work? We are about to put live evidence on the screen. That's going to show quite a
Can
few
I ask
things.
a question for
Give it
you
to me.
guys really quick? It's just me, being a first-time
Give it to
candidate.
me.
I just want to know.
Give it to me.
What do you once all of this is out, do you guys literally think that people who are with the Bailey team, or do you think that this is going to help the people not vote for Darren Bailey?
So
Yeah.
I'm asking for my own personal
Yeah.
because we've put out things about Jeff with his water situation at Elburn. Instead of him, spending $30,000 or more to try to get me kicked off the ballot, he should have been taking care of the contamination water in the mayor in Elburn, Illinois. So
And that's a great story.
Oh no, it's a
I-
great story. Yeah, it's a great story, and I believe that it has actually. He tried to sabotage me, but I think he actually sabotaged himself.
You're going to see
Because
it.
people don't want to Adam Kinzinger. That's
Oh yeah.
Real quick,
we can't send him to. We definitely cannot send him to Congress, and he get into the on the Hill, and he boasts up against what our president needs in order
Right.
for him to run the country.
Well,
So
real
we
quick,
definitely have
real
that.
quick, I didn't finish my thought earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Especially, like I said, there's a lot of bad actors in Illinois, and
Oh, yeah.
what they tried to do to Tedora. This shows me one motive. If they're attacking you and they're trying to get you off the ballot, it's not. It's because they fear you. If they didn't fear
100%.
you,
Yeah, they wouldn't care if
They
you
wouldn't
ran.
care.
No.
100%.
They would have went after somebody else in her race.
100%.
It's because they know she's a fighter. They know she can pull in those purple voters and those minority voters that they can't get in a general election.
Yeah.
They're afraid of her, and there's a lot of bad actors. I'm not gonna say the name just for legal purposes of the campaign, but they
I
have
will.
a bunch
Don't worry,
of
I will.
crazy. Yeah, they have a bunch of crazy soccer moms who, even if you say, "Hey, I like Bailey as a person, I just don't think he can win."
Yeah.
they
that's
jump
it.
in your comment section and they attack you like rabid dogs.
Some of these people are Christians they were even telling me, you should take the fall. You should just spend the rest of your life in prison. And I'm like, wow, you guys are true Christians
Darren
telling me
Bailey.
that? Like, wow, okay.
So to add on to what Noah's saying, and when we took back over this page that had become the Bailey political mouthpiece really for about 2 months, it was just nonstop, everything Darren Bailey. And I told his campaign as soon as we took this over that I don't have a problem with Darren. I think he's a nice guy. And I've told you this several times. I think he's a nice guy. I think him and his wife are great people. I do not like his lieutenant governor. I don't think that anything that guy has done has been necessary, right? And I just think that it's sad because I think that Darren 4 years ago had a way better running mate, And if he couldn't win then, how's he going to win with this one?
Well, that's the whole point. Like, we're looking at the primaries, the purpose of a primary, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong on this or if they have a different opinion. The purpose of a primary is to build the best possible team to go to the big game to fight for the championship. Okay? So we have to look at who can win a general election, not who's going to be the cool guy on the front of the losing party bus home.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you got to look at metrics. You got to look at votability. Who can relate? Who's going to work harder? Who can connect to people a lot better? And, you know, that's the whole purpose of this. So when we're looking at those statistics and figures, Darren Bailey is a 2-time loser in Illinois. He lost the congressional race in his own neighborhood, folks. In his own neighborhood, around his neighbors. Okay? And then he lost last time to Pritzker by over 600,000 votes.
In 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes. And if I'm looking at the resume of Aaron Del Mar, he's been in charge of Cook County since 2014. There has been, right now, 0 Republican election judges, 0 candidates running for office in for Cook County representation, for state or federal. The Republican Party still outnumbers Democrats in Cook County. They have no one to vote for. You've been the head of the largest division, second largest in the country, and now you're asking for a promotion. And Darren Bailey is asking for us to get behind him and run with all this crap going on. And we got more.
And so I think that this wouldn't even be, like I said, if this would have came out and been addressed, it wouldn't even be an issue as it is now.
Correct.
There wouldn't be so many more questions. There wouldn't be people just like, well, this is wrong and that's wrong. And to Noah's point, if you just so much as speak up about any of their, or about just you don't agree with them, hey, I just don't think you can win.
Yes.
You will get murdered in the comments.
They post pictures of your children.
Yeah, all of it. And so here's the thing. I was telling, I think I posted this somewhere, that those people remind me of walking down Hollywood Boulevard in the middle of the day and the Scientology people that hang out outside the door out there. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
And that's exactly what they remind me of. Like, you know, and so for me, it's,
And if I could real quick.
Absolutely.
So first I want to go over the data. And it's not because I don't like them as people or I don't know enough about them personally to make an opinion. I go off of data. I'm a numbers guy. Exactly. I'm really good at it. I stay up all hours of the night going over this. If you lose by 550,000 votes, that's too big of a bridge to gap. Now, if you lost by 70, 80, 90,000 votes, it's going to take a lot of boots on the ground. It's going to take a lot of messaging, a lot of mailing. You can bridge that gap, but over 500,000 you can't. And, you know, I've seen, and I don't know what context it was in. I did see Del Mar on a podcast say, you know, we had 2.43 million people that didn't vote in the last election. You know, we just need everybody in the ruby red counties to show up to win. And that's just never going to happen. If you look at that 2.43 million people, some people have left the state. Some people are dead. And then you take this into account.
They're dead?
Well, you know,
so they're going to vote for Democrats.
Well, it's the cycle of life, right?
And
people move, people die. It just happens.
Yeah, but say it is say perfect. Say that number is perfect, and that many unregistered voters just didn't vote in the last election. You got to look at the law of averages and mathematical possibilities. To get 550 something thousand people to vote out of 2.43 million people, you're not going to do that. No, you have to pull voters from collar counties. You need 15% of Madison County. You need 15% of Cook County. You need at least 15% of these blue states to add it up. And you know, a far right candidate, which I have no problem with people on the far right, but there's a lot of moderate voters, and this is what I mean, that are looking for somebody to lead them. They're not Trump or MAGA. I'm Trump and MAGA. I love Trump, but they're not Trump and MAGA. But they're also not happy with J.B. Pritzker and having to pay pretty much a second mortgage because of their property taxes. So if they get a moderate in there, they will absolutely vote for that moderate. But they don't want to. Either one doesn't appeal to them, so then they end up not voting anyways.
And Danny,
there's more unregistered voters than 2.43 million people. And I just want to say if that campaign that we are speaking about does want to pull in people and does want support after the primary, if they were to end up winning, they should stop judging people. They should stop nitpicking people. Being an American is about making mistakes. It doesn't matter if something's happened in your past. If you learn from what you've messed up on and you try to be a better person, I don't know one family friend, I don't know one friend, I don't know one person in my family that hasn't either dealt with something like addiction, dealt with something getting in trouble, and then turning it around. And, you know, everybody's got one person in their family that's dealt with something like that.
Sure.
And for them to just attack people based off their family or friends or stuff they've struggled with in the past, that's the best thing about being an American, getting up off the ground and moving forward. So for them to judge everybody on every little thing that's happened in their life, you're never going to get votes.
Oh,
You're
no,
never
that's
going to get
wild.
votes that way. You're just going to alienate yourself, and that's what they've done.
And you're a numbers guy. So let me just jump in here real quick. So when you look at the numbers, when these guys say, "Hey, I can beat JB Pritzker," okay, but he's a hypocrite. He took $570,000 in PPP loans. This is the same guy that didn't like the PPP loan,
Right.
program when it came out. He had a problem with that during the pandemic. He lost within 10 minutes of the election.
10 minutes. And the
That's it. It
last
was
time
over.
when he was a state rep, he voted to raise taxes.
So here's my other question. I see him lecturing people about schools, and it's great that he owns these big parochial private schools that have a huge tuition that he pays them. But how does a guy that owns Christian schools in the foot of the state, how is he going to connect with the average American inside the inner city of Chicago who has to go to public schools?
Aaron Del Mar is going
You're
to
not.
show up with chicken and grape soda.
Oh, yeah.
No. That's what he did.
Hey, I asked that. I asked
Deborah,
that
I
question.
totally forgot you were a black girl on the call. My bad. I love you.
That's okay. Look, no, but listen, I asked that question at one of their events with the women of North Shore.
Yeah.
And he said they actually answered that question and said this is what Aaron Del Mar comes in, because I'm from Chicago, so I'm
Sure.
from the West Side. So, and I still have family that's there. So I'm like, well, what are you going to do about about us over on the West Side, and then some of us on the South Side? And he said, because we don't want a pretender, right? We don't want Darren Bailey coming to Cook County pretending like he know the struggle,
Right.
or pretending like he understand when you don't understand.
So let's get a guy
maybe you
from
get out there and
Palatine.
come meet the people. Exactly. So he said that's why he have Aaron Del Mar. Aaron Del Mar is there to come and approach people like myself.
Is he from
whether
Aaron
working-
Del Mar?
Is he from the slums of Palatine?
Yeah. So that was that was the answer they gave me.
Let's
when
show
he
you
said
something.
that.
Let's show you something on Aaron Del Mar. You know how stupid Aaron Del Mar is?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the liability that Aaron Del Mar does. Aaron Del Mar has now exposed felony behavior on the Bailey campaign.
His own people he threw under the bus, really.
Man, okay, so Mike, if you can you bring up the first one? The first one on the left. Is there any way to explode that one and then just zoom into the bottom half of it?
Give me a second. Let me figure something out.
right.
Go ahead, though.
So what I'm going to show you guys while he's tweaking this out, this first image on the left, the issue for us, for JV and I, is they tried to host this podcast where they brought me on to Dora to try to ambush me, and they had played me an audio clip that says, "Hey, what if we told you we had this audio clip taking full credit for what happened at the Drake with the young woman?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you got someone recorded on this. Who is it?" And I was said during the podcast, "It's Joe Severino." I'm like, what do you mean? Are you kidding? And go ahead.
Just to authenticate, this text you're looking at is a text that Aaron Del Mar sent me personally. So this is not like we fished it down the line. This came right out of it was sent to me.
It was sent to him. And Aaron, I go, "You guys know for a fact." He goes, "We got it from a highly credible source." And here this is. Also, here's an audio clip of someone from the Severino campaign saying they set it up. Listen to the audio. One of our people recorded them bragging. You guys want to hear something wild? Because Noah Tedora, this is the first time y'all going to hear this. Mike, can you play that audio?
It's all that stuff that goes on at the Drake. No, wait a second. All that stuff that goes on at the Drake Hotel, okay? That's because of me and only me. None of those guys do it. I walked them into me. I walked all.
And then you hear how it cuts out? You want to hear that again, Tedora? You got to hear that. You want to hear it again? Hear me out. You're gonna plot twist.
I'm a woman with receipts, so
Hey,
I understand.
This is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Ready? Here's the twist. Let's go back to that screenshot real quick, if you don't mind. He says on here, listen to the audio. One of our people recorded them bragging. That woman's name is Sandra Kohler. Sandra Kohler is a campaign member of the Bailey campaign, and she illegally recorded this audio on a secondary device of somebody completely separate. I found out whose audio that is, whose voice that is, and it's not Joe Severino.
Right.
It's a whole nother person, and that person was talking about nothing happens at the Drake unless I walk him in, because he is talking about introducing people to the owner of the Drake Hotel, saying that the Republicans have events there because of him. They took that conversation and turned it into, we're going to email it to the show and say it's from the Severino campaign, taking credit for what happened to Cecilia. That illegal recording is felony eavesdropping. That is a felony charge in the state of Illinois. So Sandra Kohler is now guilty of a felony, and the victim, the person in that audio, and hear me clearly, is filing charges. They are back home, and they are filing charges on you tomorrow, Sandra, so it's coming. Get ready and lawyer up.
Wow.
If you go to the next pictures here, my friend. Now we record this podcast. After this podcast is recorded, I start hounding JV. I'm like, hey man, when are we going to air this thing? Like, this is big news. Severino was behind us.
Right. We were all about it. Like,
Dude, I was going to explode the world. I might have accidentally, pushed the Bailey campaign. All of a sudden, he tells me, this is they're demanding that it be edited. Why? Well, here's this one in the middle. This is Aaron Del Mar saying to Jay and to Blaine, please don't publicly announce podcasts. Blaine says, why? Just asking why. Because we don't want it, what does it say? Interfering with our polls, with our
poll release.
Our poll release. What's that last line say?
We want to control the news cycle.
We want to control the news cycle. The same exact thing that this is what I call classic voter suppression. The same thing that we accuse Democrats of doing to us by restricting us in the media and not focusing on our positive stories and trying to bury us in the mastermind media. This is Aaron Del Mar doing it right here to the grassroots. And if you look at this next text over, this is Aaron Del Mar, Blaine, and JV. Where are we with the editing?
That's me. I'm asking the question.
That's JV. Where are we with the editing? What does that say? I can't read that far.
We aren't going to air it till they are ready. Might be later after the 17th. I'm sorry, I sound like a 4-year-old.
It's okay.
I'm just trying to read it from like a distance. Might be later than the 17th of March. Darren and Cindy do not want it out till later. He called today, so that must have mean.
So this is Darren Bailey calling now and saying, "Hey, don't put this thing out." This is JV. Excuse me, Darren and Cindy do not want it out yet.
Till later.
Till later. Darren, read that. Says it's going. Was this?
Thinks it's going to hurt.
There
his
it is.
campaign.
Because I can't read. Sorry, guys, my screen's really far away. Darren thinks it's going to hurt their campaign. And here's what would hurt their campaign. That felony recording right there, that recording was done feloniously. That was then provided to Aaron Del Mar. So here's the question that I have for you, Aaron. Here's where the questions come in. Were you one and complicit knowing that audio was not Joe Severino or a member of his campaign and you tried to pass it off that way? Or two, are you admitting that Sandra Kohler fully recorded this as a part of the campaign or on her own accord and then presented it to you as the Joe Severino campaign? And if it is option B, why did you not vet that information? Here's a real, actual felony charge.
Well, I mean, I think it was intentional. I mean,
It's of course intentional.
You know that if you've got bad information, right?
Of course.
And you've got the folder right there. I mean, what does the first sentence say on the things that they wanted to ask you?
Which one? Oh,
this is great. So today I provided Danny.
Pause and let him hang himself.
There you go. So I provided Danny with our show notes from that show that we did that never got aired. And so I was looking for stuff today and I was like, hold on, I just found this. I was looking for my legal pad. And there it is right there. So they had a whole note section of 5 pages of what they were going to ask him. And then it says, pause, let him hang himself. You know what I mean? Like, these people are crazy.
And real quick, can I jump in, guys?
Absolutely. Come on with
because Dedora's mind's blown. So go ahead, Noah.
Yeah. So first off, I just want to say to the Illinois voters, this is why, and people working in the campaigns, we should all be coming together.
Tell me about it.
We should all be putting up a white flag saying, hey, we might not like each other. We might not invite each other over for dinner on Sunday. However, I'd rather team up with you guys and bite the bullet than get another 4 years of JB Pritzker.
Yep.
how can we beat the Democrats when we're too busy fighting ourselves?
Well, here's the answer to that, brother.
We can't, and that's one thing that really drove me. Shout out to Patrick Gibbons. He told me about Tedora in the first place, and I did my deep dive on Tedora. And the one girl that I've seen, one candidate that I've seen that's not involved in any drama, that's not doing anything, she fought. And by the way, to get it overturned in the appellate court is like never happens.
It's a little wild,
never
yeah.
happens. So that should show Illinois voters what kind of fighter she is. And I also, someone I get a lot of information from, somebody I learn a lot from, Mike Lauber. I just wanted to ask his opinion on what we need for Illinois going forward, because right now Illinois is on fire.
Well, when he answers that question, have him, we'll touch one more because, you said this, we have to come together to defeat J.B. Pritzker, right? But we also have to come together and eradicate the bad actors of our own party that are putting us in a situation not to.
So here's my question for everybody. How can you go to a unity dinner or breakfast or lunch or brunch or whatever they call it with egg rolls? How do you do all that, right? How can you say, let's do all that after you've literally tried to destroy everyone? And I like how they sit back and go, oh, that's not us. That's our buddy Tom. He can say whatever he wants. Call him. You know what I mean? Like, come on, he's working for you guys. Like, I'm tired of hearing that shit. Yeah, I'm absolutely just tired of hearing it. So how are they going to plan to bring people together after they spent the past 6 months using their proxies to basically wage war on everyone who didn't believe in them?
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, the big problem you guys have in Illinois is there's hardly any fighters. The voters are sick of these namby-pamby, weak-ass candidates that won't fight and push back against the Democrats. I mean, for God's sake, you guys have in one of your counties up there, you've got a lifelong Democrat, former NAACP chapter head, running the Republican Party. Most of the candidates are weak. They want to reach across the aisle and work with the Democrats. And voters are sick and tired of that. You want to know why people don't want to go out and knock on doors or donate to campaigns? Because they're tired of dealing with losers. They want fighters and people that will actually take the state back. But yeah, you're right, too. Like this internal sabotage, that's one of the other problems. All these people with their vanity are sending their surrogates out to go do the dirty work. If you're going to say something about somebody, just say it. Just do it. Be honest. The voters can see through this stuff. They know exactly what's going on. They know why they're doing it. They know that you lack courage, and that they know that's how you'll govern too. If that's how you're playing during a race.
I mean, dude, this story, the original story of the young lady at the hotel was a nothing burger.
It was totally nothing.
Ended up.
And I don't want to say that with any disrespect.
No disrespect to her, but it had nothing to do with Bailey or Del Mar.
Absolutely
nothing.
Not. And you and I have talked about this at length. If they would have just come out and said, "Hey, you know what? This is crazy. We're getting rid of Corrigan. We're getting rid of Jose Durbin. And we're going to let, if Cecilia needs anything, we'll take care of it.
Absolutely.
And be done with it. No one's going to say anything.
I would have shut my mouth in October.
No one's going to say anything. But the whole fact that you're trying to silence podcasts, you're trying to influence dirty audio, you're doing why would you do all these things if there's nothing there?
They framed, guys, and this is what's crazy, Tedora. They framed Joe Severino, out of all people, Tedora, Noah, Joe Severino is getting legitimized here. Aaron Del Mar attempted to frame him. I mean,
you can't legitimize him, but that's a story for.
Yeah, I was going to say that's got to be the first time in his life somebody's legitimized him.
That's what I'm saying. Like here, Severino's got a legitimate case. He tried to frame him for felony sexual assault as an accomplice, felony drug distribution. There's another conspiracy to commit felony assault. There's potential federal kidnapping charges if they would have got her into the room. And the guy was saying that. Severino is guilty of this, or his campaign was. He provided that information, and if we would have aired that, if JV would have aired that episode without the Baileys, Darren and Cindy seeing the episode first and demanding it be edited, that would have opened up lawsuits to JV, to his family, to everybody involved, and it would have been an explosion.
And it's fair to say this. You have to understand this too. At the time, our podcast, well, Blaine, not me. I would just come and do the podcast, but she was heavily involved in pushing their narrative, right? She was always a campaign stop with them. A lot of pictures, interviews, story after story after story. So if they're willing to do that to someone who's like helping them that much, they'll do it to anybody.
Well, now here's the question for Sandra Kohler. Like, you committed a felony by illegally recording that guy, and you know who it is. In fact, so does Noah.
Well, they tried to blame Noah.
Yeah,
you saw the text that I sent you. They tried to blame him.
They tried to blame him.
The guy's not even here.
Say it was him. They tried to blame you, Noah, and Blaine tried to say, "Oh, that recording is of Noah and Todd." Well, I said his name. It's okay, Todd. They don't know his last name. Todd B. Todd Anonymous. Tom Joe. Those that know. But they also know that Todd's not to be played with, and he's pressing official charges. So, Sandra, you guys committed a felony. You took that felony information and you handed it to the campaign. And Darren Bailey and Cindy Bailey, knowing that this material is out there, still standing up for Aaron Del Mar, they can easily remove him. They can easily, according to election, they can get rid of him.
So that was you don't know this, but that was a big conversation that I had with Blaine and the Hobbit. I was like, how can they? He's the liability here, right? That's always been my thing. He's the liability. So how is it? How can you get rid of the liability?
Here's what happens. Del Mar needed Bailey to run so that they can win the primary off his $30 million name recognition from Pritzker last time. Something is going to be held over Darren's head, and here's what you're going to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go ahead and step out of this race with everything. I've not had a chance to mourn my family. I want to be around my wife. I believe Aaron Del Mar is going to do a bang-up job, and now we got Aaron Del Mar running for governor.
You think that's what's going to happen? That's crazy.
Hey, I'll throw odds on it.
Danny Insanity strikes
I thought
again.
only Democrats failed upwards. What the hell?
Dude, he came from the Democrat Party. Aaron Del Mar was so sleazy, they kicked him out of the Democrat Party. And he came over to the Republican side, which was already broken, and he bullied a bunch of debate club winners. And okay, and literally handed over the county. We have no one to vote for in Cook County for statewide or any big offices. We have no Republican election judges. This guy has handed it all over. He is the leader of the Illinois Uniparty.
So, do you know who doesn't have all these?
Danny, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you a question.
No, bring it on.
These, to me, being on the outside, watching everything, it seems as though the elections are being sabotaged.
Right?
That's what it seemed like to me.
Right.
Well,
this is just what I'm peeping
you're
from
so on the
observing
money.
everything.
Bingo.
It seems like, and I remember I did a video 2 weeks ago when I won the Illinois Appellate Court. I said, two things is going on. Either you guys really don't want to win, or you're sabotaging the elections. And this is the thing.
Correct.
When I get into a fight, I do not like to lose. It's like opening up a business, okay? You don't open up a business for the business to actually fail.
Correct.
Now, if it's failing, you let it go and you find something else to do. However, the goal is to actually profit off of your business, right?
Yes.
So this is what I'm thinking. Even like now with Jeff saying, now every debate we go through now, the reason why he's running for Congress is this. I was approached by Dean White, by the CRO. So now he's using an excuse.
There's that name
to
again.
say why he's running for Congress. Because this is the thing. If you're not running for Congress for the reasons that needs to be done, and that's because you're freaking fed up and tired of the taxes going up and our children have to live through this, then you need to bow out the race anyway. Because you're telling everyone that you're running because someone else asked you to run. That means that you're not passionate enough. This is why you don't have any fighters on the Republican side, because the top people are choosing people to actually run. And that's what happened to me. That's why they were trying to get me knocked off the ballot, because I'm not a puppet. They can't tell me this or tell me that or tell me this. I didn't ask for any money from anyone. I didn't ask for any help. I just did whatever God told me to do, and I followed his guidance. And I'm thinking now, after the appellate court thing, it's like, are these elections really being sabotaged? That's just my question.
Go down the bigger.
That's why Illinois is on a 20-year losing streak.
Yeah.
They're absolutely being sabotaged. Now, I think it's a mix. I think there are bad actors in the Illinois Republican Party. But I also think there's just some really dumb people who don't think before they do something. And it's if you're losing 20 years in a row, it's pretty easy to diagnose the problem.
Right.
And then there's diagnosing it. Then there's coming up with the solution. Then there's coming up with a way to implement it. By the way, she couldn't be on tonight, guys. Chase Heidner, shout out. She taught me about identifying the solution, recognizing it, and then implementing it. So shout out to Chase Heidner. That's really young, strong lady, very, very smart. And she's going to be coming in the Republican Party in Illinois like a bat out of hell. So regardless of what happens in this primary, guys, keep your eyes out on her. But to Dora, I had just one question and one thought. I know we briefly touched on it the other day on the show. And I want to pivot here, guys, really quick. I don't want to give too many bad actors too much,
Exactly.
Information, yeah.
too much clout. I wanted to ask you about this. I see you got that Second Amendment hat on. 3 years ago, I moved to Florida for a plethora of reasons, not just the sunny skies and palm trees, but in Florida, people are safe. People get to arm themselves. I see the Second Amendment hat. Are you willing to put forth a bill or do anything in your power as when you're elected to Congress to make Illinois a Second Amendment state where you can open carry?
Oh, that would be perfect. Because what people have to understand, especially from coming from the city of Chicago and being raised there all of my life until 2000, and I left there in 2003 and went to Oak Park, but and on the west side of Chicago. So we've been in some deep areas, where there's a lot of heavy crime, drugs, and everything. It's not about the actual gun. You get what I'm saying? It is about the people who is actually getting a hold of the guns. So it goes back to the Democratic Party. A lot of these killings and all these guns. We just had a killing, in Chicago, right off of 63rd, about 2 weeks ago. These people out there with their rifles. Okay, they got all types of guns, just gunned down this one lady, one girl, whether she was talking or whatever the case was. But at the end of the day, it actually happened. That's the thing. So how did the guns get here? What happened with them should not affect us people who actually have the right to carry. That should not have anything to do with us. That should not stop us from that is our constitutional rights. That's number one. Our Second Amendment, if we don't have our Second Amendment, then what do we have? We have a right to protect ourselves. We have a right to bear arms. This is what our founding fathers fought for. And I would do everything in my power to make sure that red flag laws has been canceled, because like I said before, they're trying to get it where as though we have to, in our own homes, we have to provide certain safety, on where we have our guns put up and all that.
Forget that part.
All of that is bullshit. Excuse my language. That's exactly
the red
what
flag problem is Tedora. I could make a phone call and say, hey, she said that she was going to hurt somebody, and they'll come take everything from you first. Forget habeas corpus.
I didn't even know it. I didn't even understand it.
Forget habeas corpus, where you're innocent until found guilty. You're guilty until you're found innocent, and with red flag laws.
Yeah. The bottom line is they got to stop punishing law-abiding citizens for the actions of criminals. They treat them like they're the bad guy. Everything happens. Exactly. Yeah, and the same with this. It's also part of the same no bail, soft on crime policy. Wow. When you refuse to put people in jail for minor crimes like assault, breaking and entering, things like that, and you're releasing them right back on the street, they are of course going to escalate to more and more serious crimes until they're shooting people or killing people, and eventually you have a city like Chicago that's basically a war zone where you're safer in Baghdad than you are in downtown Chicago.
Come for the food, stay because you got murdered.
They asked me a question the other day about getting on about the CTA. I guess the CTA is trying to say they're going to provide some more. Here goes some more freaking corruption, right? They're going to provide some type of money that CTAs is going to be safer. Listen, that is not happening. Cut the bullshit. There is no way. That's why I say you need to just tell the people the truth. CTA, the CTA is not safe. Okay. Anytime someone can walk on the CTA and slap your face or knock you out or burn you up or whatever, and then nothing happens to that person, why would I even think twice about putting my children or myself in that type of danger? So until the Democrats get out of office, and we have right now on Cook County to become the president against Tony Pettengill, we don't have one Republican on there. One.
Not
at least we can have a
Cook
name.
County either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That we should have one. I don't give a damn if it was you, Danny.
If that's but Tedora,
I'll tell you guys this real quick.
Go ahead, Noah.
I'll be fast about it. Go ahead. Earlier today, I went into Rural King with my buddy here down south. Everybody was carrying a gun on them. We have no robberies, no carjackings. If you try to go rob a store in the South, you're gonna be able to read a newspaper through your body.
Yes.
So here's
be good. And because the gun is the great equalizer. We had a 27-year-old mom in South Florida. 4 guys broke into her house. She had 2 little kids in there. God knows what they were going to do. But guess what? She had an AR-15.
Chitty, chitty, bang, bang, motherfucker. Sorry.
Go, girl. Yes.
Absolutely. And by the way, guys, a really big expert on guns. He probably owns the most guns that I know of. Mike here. Mike, how bad is it when you have to come to Illinois? Because you have even better gun laws than Ohio. But when you come to Illinois, tell us about that.
The
You
worst.
told me about it.
Yeah, well, first of all, you can't carry concealed there, even with an out-of-state permit.
Correct.
And if I'm going to take anything with me, if I'm going to be staying there for a while, I got to go down to, well, I guess we're on YouTube, so I can't hold it up. I've got my Chicago gun here. You got to carry something that's lower capacity, something like a 6-shooter. Instead of, something like I would normally carry, a semi-automatic, because you have idiotic capacity limits. I've talked to 2 people in law enforcement in your state that can't tell me how many rounds a pump shotgun can hold because the laws are intentionally confusing. Because again, they want to prosecute the law-abiding citizens. Well, how many times was this guy that set the woman on fire on the subway arrested before he set her on fire? Was it 74 times?
Right.
Well, I kind of feel like we've established a pattern of behavior. After you've been arrested 74 times, that's probably not somebody that you should, at the very least, you shouldn't be applying the catch and release policy to. Exactly. That you probably ought to take it seriously when he comes back in again for his 19th felony assault.
So you're right on the money here. And, to touch to all of your points, if we're talking about, we're all we keep focusing on is the effect. Well, how do we get down to the root cause, right? Like you said, Chase was saying to you, the root cause of this is legislation. It is different people running office. So if I'm looking at a resume of Aaron Del Mar for Cook County, and it has been a disaster since he started. They are record low numbers, lowest numbers in history of Republican representation, to the point where there's no Cook County sheriff Republican candidate running. Why are we allowing this man to ask us for a promotion? No, really.
No, I get it.
Would you give me a raise, Jay?
No. So you know who doesn't have all this drama?
Who?
Rick Heidner.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I promised Chase, by the way, guys. Just like Tedora, this is why I love Heidner. I love Tedora. Heidner will support an open carry state and make Illinois an open carry state. Rick Heidner says, and Chase says, your permit is the Constitution. Shall not be infringed upon.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, you have that to look forward to.
I'm completely with that. And you know what? Special shout out real quick.
I haven't seen anything about that yet. He needs to push that.
Yep,
he does. Yeah. There is something that is pretty viral, Jay, about Heidner, and he made a comment about wanting a sanctuary state. And for a moment, the entire room went. He goes, I want a sanctuary state for my veterans.
Yeah, I saw
for
that.
the veterans. Okay, if you take a little bit of that amount, what you can do. I want to tell everyone what this guy. Go ahead, because I want to tell everyone what Rick did for us.
Well, when it comes to what I liked about what he said, and this is where Noah kind of goes back to moderate people like moderates, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at Rick's, when they asked him about policy on illegal aliens, right? He said, hey, I really wish that the people who've been here for years, working, paying taxes, being good citizens, had a path to that instead of just, hey, handcuffs out the door.
100%.
And so that's the humanity side of him.
It is.
And that's why he's got my
and
support.
I agree with an extent, and we can even go in extra and say there's a 7-year visa. It's $1,000 a year if you've been here 10 years or longer. That program is going to end up creating $84 billion that goes back to each. Oh my, we can get crazy with it.
Right.
But the thing was, in Aurora, Illinois, last night, we had a evening of honor, a veterans event, where we honored Kane County veterans, and we ended up getting to have a special honoree that was a former member of the Aurora GOP. He's a former Marine. He was in Vietnam.
Oh wow!
And his wife passed years ago. May she rest in peace. And he hasn't seen his daughter in a while. She lives kind of far away. And he busted his butt and helped me do everything we could to get this to go without a hitch. Because I don't know how, veterans groups, and I don't have the inside track, right? Who am I? So he helped, and then he was a special honoree, and he stood up, this old man with his cane. He was all proud in front of his fellow vets. And then, we told him, hey, your daughter's been sitting 2 tables behind you now. And his face turned into a little puppy. It was so cute. He got all sweet and sentimental.
That's great.
And Rick Heidner made sure when Chase and Rick found out that we're doing the event and I was going around trying to get some sponsorships, they covered the entirety of the bill. Without even thinking twice, they said, this is for vets. It's not costing you $1. Because all of our proceeds, we didn't raise the proceeds to help campaigns. We couldn't, or else the veterans groups couldn't be involved.
Sure.
We raised funds to distribute and to honor veterans with. And he, without even thinking twice, it can't help his campaign. He can't make it political. Here's a check. Done.
So he's getting my vote.
I always look for motive in candidates. It's what you do behind closed doors. I didn't even know that till right now.
Yeah.
Danny did not fill me in.
He was busy last night. They couldn't even make it. He just wanted them all to eat dinner.
All I did was connect Danny with his daughter Chase. I did not, and see, that's what we care about in candidates. Just like Tedora, it's what you do behind closed doors. It's what you do when nobody's looking. It's easy to make
Build a
pretend to break
coalition.
down on the side of the road and make a photo op and take a picture of it and blow it up across social media.
Just stand next to this fence.
Like a white Republican to go take a picture with a African American kid and act like they love the black community. A lot of it's bullshit.
God, you're white. You could
But
say
it's
black
what you
kid.
do behind closed doors. That's what matters.
You are right. I love it.
Guys, before we end up wrapping up here, because we're getting close to the top of the hour. So before we wrap up, Mike, I'd love some quick final thoughts from you on this, because this is the first time you're hosting us on your network, and we're honored to be here. But the big thing with Illinois that, we're going to advocate and stress for is if you're on the me specifically, if you're on the Republican side and I'm a Republican, I'm going to hold my people to twice the high of a standard as people that I consider opposition. And if you're going to try to eliminate First Amendment, cease and desist, threaten, and try to shut me up, and I have all of the receipts, I do feel like there should be a means here of excommunication to get rid of these bad actors. Mike, what are your final thoughts?
To me, it seems what I hear from everybody is the people in Illinois are ready for a change. They're sick and tired of Brandon Johnson. He's sitting at a 6% approval rating. They're tired of this sanctuary city, sanctuary state policy that's making everyone unsafe. They're tired of the high crime, the out of control spending, the corruption, and everything else. But the big obstacle, the only reason we're not seizing this moment right now, and why there aren't 10 candidates like Tedora right now about to flip Democrat seats, is because the party structure there is an absolute failure. It's filled with these just yellow-bellied, pickle-kissing losers that refuse to even get in the fight. And it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to the people. It's the grassroots to change something in your state.
It is.
Yes. And we need more candidates that are willing to address the actual problems, to say the hard things, to say, you know what, we are in such a deep hole here in Illinois. It's going to take us a little while to dig out of it. But here's what we got to do first. We got to do something to get the spending under control. We got to do something to get the property taxes under control. I mean, I watch these videos of people on the South Side that were out there with Chicago Flips Red burning their property tax bills where they'd gone up over 100%. That's not affordable on any planet, on any state. And these are things that connect directly to the voters. I don't understand why the party isn't out there fighting and leading the way on this right now, because to me, these seem like easy victories. We couldn't win every seat there. There's too much corruption in the state for that. But we could make huge gains and start saving the state so it quits burning to the ground and sets the other areas around it on fire.
And that's because the rhinos don't want to lose their position of power, so they've given all the leverage away to the Democrats. Tedora,
they are used to politics as real quick. They are used to politics as usual. They are used to their little side deals, lining their pockets. They forgot about the voters in the state a long time ago. It's about them and personal enrichment.
That was the freaking quote of the damn show. Absolutely. Tedora, thoughts before we wrap up here, because you got till the 17th. What do you want people to hear from you?
Well, I want people to know that I am here to save Illinois. I vowed not to leave the state because I could have been in Florida or any other state. I would only go to Florida though. But I vowed, in my race, I am the only born and raised Illinois. Everyone else, you have Jeff Walters, who was born through two illegal immigrants. You have Charlie Kim, who's an immigrant. You have Mike, that is an immigrant. When I say born Illinois, that's me. So I've seen Illinois. I've been through Illinois. I opened my business in Illinois. Why is it that we as American citizens, working class, working families, cannot do what we need to do and make sure we save our state? I just want to know this. What is the problem that I might post something when I post something about property taxes? I just did I think you've seen it, Noah, the thing about property taxes. I'm letting them know what I'm going ahead. I never wanted to tell people my strategy, but I hit it head on this time. Every day this week, I'm going to put up what I'm going to do when I get elected. First thing, no new federal taxes. We're going to stop it. Property taxes is going to be at a cap, at 10,000. We're just paying too much money. Groceries, you have to decide if you want groceries or you want to pay your rent. This stuff has to stop. We cannot continue to let this happen. I have this thing right here. We just did
Jesus.
We just did this event, right, with the Chicago Flips Red, right? And we had It was sold out. We had over maybe 75 people there. We was only thinking it was going to be about 40. So people are, and it was so crazy. It was diverse. It was more black people there that we didn't even expect.
Same thing with the Aurora events. You come to our events, they don't look like a Republican event.
People are ready for change. They need someone we need a voice. In Illinois,
Amen.
we need a voice. We need a strong voice that is not afraid. And that voice right now is me.
And the 11th Congressional,
I'm
Tedora Brown.
To go vote. Yeah.
Noah, give me a wrap up before we wrap up out of here, brother.
All right, guys. Illinois, this primary matters more than the general. One, because we're not at the general yet. And two, the primary, you get to put your best knight on the front lines to go fight. Illinois, March 17th, vote for Tedora Brown. If you're voting the governor's race, you can't go wrong with Rick Heidner. You can't go wrong with James Mendrick, whoever you prefer out of the two. Both amazing candidates.
Agreed.
Rick's one of the wisest, best businessmen to ever come out of Illinois, who came from nothing. James Mendrick's one of the smartest people I've ever talked to personally. Great character, awesome guy. I would trust James Mendrick to be the president of the United States, same as Rick Heidner. Both awesome guys. You're just gonna have to decide who you want. And that's who you guys should support. Tedora, we need to flip the seat. Tedora's gonna fight for us. Did you guys hear the passion in her voice?
We have
Did you hear the conviction in her voice?
We have to flip that seat.
Get out and vote March 17th. Make a group chat. Add 10 people to the group chat. Make them add 10 people. You can win Illinois, but it's gonna take a lot.
Hey, we need to flip that
we'll
seat.
be at the St. Patrick's Day parade, Danny, if you want to come with your Aurora GOP gear.
I got you. Listen, I'll show up with a fez rocking out a magic carpet. JV, take us home, brother.
So I just want to say thanks to everybody for having us on a national level tonight. It's really good to meet everyone. It's really good to have a civil conversation. It's really good to talk about what the issues are that we need to overcome to take back the state of Illinois, right? So I think we're all headed in the grassroots level in the right direction. I think the bad actors will weed themselves out.
Yep.
And I have faith that, the people are going to come through.
I'm with you. Listen, for all those bad folks out there, this is your final stand. The Republican Party and the powers that be, hear my voice clearly. State Central Committee members, I'm coming at all of you on this. We have made so much noise. The actual people are done with the BS. If we're going to complain about the DSA on the left, we have a ridiculous problem with you rhinos on the right. And this is down the middle. And we're going to get rid of the 10% of the psychos on our side, the 10% of the psychos on the other side, and then we can focus on 80% of our community instead of 20% at a failing grade. 815 Has Problems podcast on a national level. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tedora Brown, Noah, Mike, Shane, when he was here, we're going to get some Wi-Fi in Stonington. We need Elon Musk to send Starlink to Stonington, Illinois. Guys, it's been live from the Hive.
For the last time tonight.
For tonight, oh my God.
But Tuesday, we got a big one.
Ooh, you know what?
Just wait.
Should I?
Yeah. Just wait.
We got a big one for Tuesday. All right, guys.
Tell us so we can tune in.
You'll see the flyer tomorrow.
It'll be at a 5 p.m. Central Time, this one. So, yeah,
Yep,
be
guys,
good.
guys, this was great. We got to run it back sometime.
We do. This is awesome. I love it.
We can make it a weekly if need be. We'll call it a recap. We'll bang this thing out. Tedora, not for nothing here, but you didn't know what you were walking into. How'd you like the show?
I enjoyed it. I learned a lot.
Hi, look at felonies. We got felonies.
You know what? I wish James Mendrick and Rick Heidner would have been on a ticket together.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that.
Mike brought that up months ago.
You did? Oh,
Mike brought that
wow.
up months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We would be killing them right now.
Game over.
We would kill them
Game
right
over. In any position. Mendrick 1 and Heidner 2, or Heidner 1, Mendrick 2. Either way. If them two were together from the beginning, game over.
I believe it.
Illinois would be going to jail.
God bless the United States.
That's
God
right.
bless Florida. God bless Ohio. God bless the state of Illinois. And the 815 is alive from the Hive, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Deuces.
Peace.
Guys, and please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear.